Have you ever started eating keto and just got overwhelmed? Or maybe you dipped your toes in just enough to get turned off a little bit too much. Or maybe you saw that keto got your friend or yourself some good results, but you just need some help. Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Hecker. Let's dive into you're overwhelmed with keto. Where do I even start? So when we dive into this, there's really two steps to this question. There's I'm overwhelmed. What do I do now? And then there's where do I even start? So let's go into the overwhelmed steps. Okay, so the step one of being overwhelmed is figure out what you are overwhelmed with. Be specific. Maybe there's too much going on in your life right now to make a change. Maybe you can't figure out your meals. Maybe that's where you're overwhelmed. Or maybe you have a family friend that's sabotaging your lifestyle and it's really, really, really tough to do that. Write down what you are overwhelmed with. Okay, what is it? So step two, when you're overwhelmed, is how can you overcome that barrier? So maybe, for example, maybe there's too much in your life going on we were talking about. How can you overcome that? Make one change to overcome that barrier. So maybe you need to slow your life down. Maybe it's saying no to something. Maybe it's getting up earlier so you can get up and get a fresh start today and get something done. Maybe you need to sleep longer to get more rest. Maybe you need a planner, like my favorite full focus planner. Maybe the kids are doing too much. Maybe you need to limit things to just one sport or activity per child if you're a parent like me. So maybe that's an example of how you can overcome that barrier. So remember that example where you can't figure out your meals? Well, here's some ideas of how to overcome that barrier. Maybe you just need to meal plan, girl. Like you need a meal plan. You need to take some time out of a Sunday. Maybe you're doing it in car pickup line. Maybe you just need to find time, pencil it out and jot it down, plan your meals. Search on Pinterest, ask your family, maybe just comment on really great posts out there so you can get the recipe for how to meal plan and get some ideas. Okay, so here's an example again, ways to overcome your barrier is maybe just be upfront with your family and friends if they are sabotaging your lifestyle right now. Just be upfront, say, hey, I got really good intentions. I want to be doing something healthy for my body right now, and I need your support. Okay, I'm not going to eat the muffins that you bring home. I just need to let you know so you can support me. Okay, so those are examples of how you can overcome those barriers. So step three, when you're overcoming the overwhelm component of keto, is you need to write that plan down. You need to write it down and you need to evaluate it. So write it down first so you have it written down. You're going to be more successful when you write things down. It's a proven fact. You need to then evaluate it weekly. Reflect on it. Make sure that you know that it's working or if it's not working, or maybe you're ready to take the next step to challenge yourself a little bit more with it. So those are going to be your 3 steps to overcoming the overwhelm with keto. Figure out what you were overwhelmed with and be specific. How can you overcome that barrier and be specific, and write down and plan so you can evaluate if it's working for you. Okay, so let's move into where do I even start? Okay, so you kind of get an idea of what you're overwhelmed with. Now you need to jump in. You need to get your feet wet. Let's talk about some of the easiest ways to start keto. Okay, where to even start? If you don't even know the basics of keto, you need to start there. You need to educate yourself. Well, maybe you need some guidance on what to even do that. Please download my signature keto program. And spoiler alert, in this program, there is no dairy. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But you can go to my free guide, Genius Food Formula, on my website to get that free informative guide, 10-day meal planner, and an at a glance quick guide to that. So if you are new to keto, you just got to understand it first. Okay, so maybe you know how to do keto, but it's just too much. Maybe that's you. Well, my example here and my advice here is just to start with one meal. Start with a keto breakfast. Just start with breakfast. Do that for a week. Maybe do eggs, maybe do an omelet, maybe some sausage or bacon, add it in with some vegetables. One of my favorite breakfasts is to bring in some eggs with some sauteed Brussels sprouts. It is so good. It really is. Maybe add a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of salt to that, a little bit of hot sauce, and spice it up a little bit, make it a little more spicy for you. So maybe you just fast. Maybe that's a component of breakfast that you're doing. So start with just a breakfast. Then once you've mastered that breakfast, move to lunch. And lunch typically can be something pretty easy. Maybe it's a salad that you've already pre-made with some protein that you can just plop on top. Or maybe it's leftover dinners that you've had the night before. Okay, so maybe it's some meat roll-ups that you can put some avocados in there. So maybe you're on the go or maybe you're at home. You need to plan. Get that planner out and write that down. All right. So if you're on the go, maybe think of Chipotle if that's a restaurant in the area you're at. Chick-fil-A, the grilled nuggets are a great go-to with a side salad, or just make it into a brunch. Maybe you do, again, like the eggs and the vegetables sauteed that you can do. So move from breakfast into lunch. Do that for maybe week 2. Then on week 3, then take on keto dinner. Okay, this is where you can do maybe just 3 dinners a week and you can eat some leftovers, or you have some go-to keto meals that are really easy for you, but it's just coming up with more ideas. That's the tough part. So then after you've mastered the keto part, then you can move into fasting. That really sets your immune system, it sets your insulin, your hormones up for success when you start with keto first, and then you transition into fasting, more intermittent fasting and that. So I'm going to, again, remind you, if you need that one-on-one support with learning how to do keto, download my signature program, Genius Food Formula, and I'm always here for you. Check out enlightenstl.com.